What's up, everybody? So, purpose of life. Many people are trying to figure out what the purpose of life is. Some have found answers that satisfy them, some have not. And I think I've kind of come to my conclusion. You see, some people have said that the purpose of life is to procreate. Some people have said that it's to learn and to grow. And for me, I think that I now understand the purpose of life to be to heal. To heal the wounds, to heal the traumas that we've been through in our childhood. And for most of us, this is actually unconscious, and we're not even aware of the traumas that we've been through. For example, for me, I used to think I had the best childhood. I used to think everything was perfect and there was no problems and anything like that. And I thought this up until very recently. And the more that I kind of reflected and dived into it, the more I realized how fucked up my childhood actually was. And not fucked up in a way of like I was beat up or I was physically tortured, or that I lost my parents in a tragic accident. Not fucked up in that way, but fucked up in its own unique way. Fucked up more of a psychological way, more of an emotional way, like emotional neglect or psychological manipulation, being shamed, being humiliated, being controlled, being stripped away of my own personal autonomy and freedom. Right? These things fuck you up. And then you go into adulthood with all of these traumas that you've suppressed, and then you relive these experiences in your relationships. And you approach your relationships with all these wounds, all this hurt, and then you don't treat your partner the way that they deserve to be treated. You treat them in unhealthy ways, and you treat yourself in unhealthy ways, and you see yourself in a certain light, in a certain way, which is simply unhealthy. And you will continue to relive these patterns and these experiences until you finally heal this. Until you finally heal these wounds and these traumas. And the worst part of it is, if you don't do that, and you have children, then you're just passing it on to them. And this can go on for generations and generations. And so, the things that I went through, this was just passed down by my parents. And most of it was from my mom. And she was just passing down all of the trauma and the wounds that her mom passed down to her. My grandmother, and then my grandmother's mother. And it just goes on and on and on. I don't know for how many generations. Until someone says, okay, enough is enough. Until someone says, okay, I see what's going on here. I can see what's happening here. I can see what's happened. And I can see all the things which were not okay. And which are not okay. And which are just simply fucked up. And so then a person can start to heal. And they can become more whole and more complete, and not seek this wholeness and this completeness in someone else, but they can have it for themselves. So, going back to the purpose of life, right now, my purpose of life is just to heal. Is just to heal myself and to become a whole version of me, like a complete version of me. That's a lot more healed. That's a lot more stable. That sees themselves as someone that's actually lovable and that deserves love and happiness. And as someone who's not inadequate, right? Someone who's worthy. Someone who doesn't need to do things or act a certain way to be loved. And instead just to be someone, just to be yourself. And for me, just to be myself. And that in and of itself is enough. Okay? So that's where I'm heading to. That's the path that I'm going down on. And I don't really see any other choice, because if you don't address this, you just keep having relationships after relationships with different people over and over and over, just to show you the exact same things, perhaps in different ways, but the exact same patterns, the exact same wounds and beliefs manifesting. And this is work that just needs to be done. And I refuse to pass down to my children all the horrible things that were passed down to me, and in the many horrible ways which I was treated as a child. And yeah, of course I was treated in many great ways as a child, of course, and I was also loved, but there were still many times where things were just not okay. Things were just not okay. And child should not have to go through the things that I went through. And I'm sure for many of you, you've even had it worse. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. And I think this is the generation where we are putting an end to this continuous cycle of trauma families and just passing this onward to our children. And I think we're putting an end to that. And I think that this generation, and I see it, they're a lot more conscious, they're a lot more aware, and there's a lot more effort being put into heal ourselves so that we can give our children everything that we didn't get. So that we can give our children healthy parenthood and healthy childhood. So I hope you found some inspiration in this video. I'm gonna go now. Peace. I love you.